So just earlier today, Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer was announced on a Instagram live stream by Dana White, and I have seen that there is a little bit of controversy regarding this in the fact that Dana White apparently hyped this up like it was going to be some big announcement, and he only really announced Adesanya versus Pyfer, and fans are like, you made us wait for one fight, and I know Adesanya still is probably one of the biggest names in the sport. I think a lot of people were probably expecting some sort of title fight announcement, and this is just a fight night announcement with Adesanya's fight against Pyfer. And I wanted to talk about it because this is a really interesting fight, because the first thought that I had was, oh my god, Israel Adesanya is going to get knocked out by Joe Pyfer, because I can genuinely see that being a reality, and I think a lot of people can probably see that happening as well. And then I was thinking to myself, actually, I think Joe Pyfer might try and wrestle in this fight, which could also maybe happen as well. I think the more that I think about this fight, the more and more interested I am in it. However, I do think now that I've given it about an hour or two since the announcement, I think Adesanya probably should be able to win this one. However, I did say that same thing against Nasirin Imavov, and he did get knocked out by Imavov, kind of on like the restart. Remember how Jamal Hill got knocked out by Alex Pereira on a restart sort of situation? A very similar thing happened to Adesanya against Imavov at the start of the second round. And I didn't even realize this, but Adesanya's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. So it really kind of has been a bit of a downward sort of trajectory over the last few years for Izzy, but he is getting older. He's only 37. I mean, at this point, he's kind of already established himself as one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Some would say he is the greatest. I think there's a strong argument for Silva, but it doesn't matter. The point is, he's fighting Joe Pyfer, who's an up-and-coming sort of star. I think that the UFC's really been trying to build for a pretty long time now, and I do think that this is just going to add a lot of interest to me, to be honest with you, because Pyfer, he does hit really, really hard. Like, he does have some insane KO power. We've seen that showcased before. We've also seen that he was able to hurt Gastelum on the feet, and people don't really be able to do that to him. He can wrestle offensively as well, which is something that he does have. But the thing is, like, when he did struggle against Jack Hermansson, he looked good in the first 2 rounds, and then he gassed out, sort of, and then Hermansson took over. And this is a 5-round fight, and I think the fact that it is a 5-round fight is what makes this fight so interesting to me, to be honest with you, because I do think over 5 rounds, Adesanya should be able to find a lot of success against Pyfer. The problem is, can we trust that a 37-year-old Adesanya is going to be able to get out of the way of the boxing of Joe Pyfer? Because at the end of the day, it only does take one. And I know Adesanya's fought hard hitters throughout his entire career now. You know, Jared Cannonier comes to mind, Dricus du Plessis even comes to mind, and he did actually hurt him, of course, on the feet before getting that finish. You could even argue, of course, Paulo Costa, and that is one of Adesanya's best performances in his career. And even then, like, he beat Rob Wilkinson. This is a long time ago, though, now, but when you really do kind of think about it, Adesanya has dealt with very heavy hitters before, but the problem is now, in the big 2026, we're seeing him come off a KO loss about a year ago. I'm intrigued a lot by this fight. I'm going to lean Adesanya by decision at the moment. I don't know what the public's probably thinking about right now. No predictions up right now yet at the time of me recording, but I do kind of want to take a quick moment to talk about the rest of the card as well. Let me know what you think about this main event here. The rest of this card's quite good. Tybura versus Walker is interesting to me. Cagliari versus Carol Foro should be sneaky good. Mansour Abdulmalik versus Yusri Belgari is awesome. But I want to talk about this fight because this is some of the best matchmaking I think the UFC could have done at the lower rankings, or even between 2 debutants, really, at the end of the day, because Zhu Kangjie just won the Road to UFC tournament last year, and he really impressed me with some fantastic performances in that tournament. You know, he kind of came out of nowhere to me. Some people disagree with me, but personally, I wasn't very impressed by the regional tape. A lot of people were like, Artem, you were wrong. Maybe I wasn't watching the right fights, I don't know. But Zhu Kangjie kind of came out of nowhere to me, and I just could not believe how good this guy looked against Tatsuya Ando. He then looked pretty good against Shin Haraguchi, who is a really good wrestler. And then he beat Jibin, who is also very talented as well. Has lost since then, but still a good win. And he's taken on Marcio Barbosa. And Barbosa is a Dana White's Contender Series fighter dream, because he is just a one-punch KO artist. He'll come forward, he'll throw down, and he's just going to knock you out in the first round. So these two guys that I really like watching fight, are going to fight against each other. I think this is awesome. I do think that it probably will result in Marcio Barbosa landing on Zhu Kangjie. I do think this is probably a good matchup for Barbosa, because Barbosa is one of those fighters which he's going to look really, really good in certain matchups, but he's going to look really, really bad in other matchups as well. But I think this could be the kind of fight which Barbosa is going to look good in, because he's going to have a willing dance partner here. If Barbosa takes on someone who's like really tricky and is going to fight him from range and not really crash the pocket like a madman, like I think someone like this is an extreme example, but someone like Lerone Murphy, I think he would struggle with that sort of style. I'm trying to think of someone lower in the rankings who can do it. Maybe Delgado, but Delgado gets caught in the pocket. You know, what I'm trying to say is Barbosa, he's going to look good until he fights someone that can find a very effective game plan at just avoiding the power, because we know that Barbosa's cardio is not good. We've seen it in the past. His grappling's okay. He can get taken down. Zhu Kangjie can wrestle. I think he's going to need to wrestle here, but I honestly, at the end of the day, man, as much as I love Zhu Kangjie, I do think he's going to get caught in this matchup by Barbosa. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So far, this card is looking pretty good. It's not looking crazy stacked. Like, there is a lot of fights on here. I guess, like, I think they want us to be a lot more hyped up for Grasso versus Barber than what I am. I'm just going to say I don't really care about that fight that much, and I don't really care about Fernandez versus O'Neal either, even if it is going to be a pretty big comeback for O'Neal, who hasn't fought in over a year now. Aside from that, I think these prelims are really good. I think this is going to be a great card. It's looking quite good. I don't know what else was kind of announced. I will kind of make an announcement myself. I am working on the PFL Dubai predictions on We Want Picks. I will make a video on that closer to the time. Aside from that, not really too much else to say. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.